He's on vacation.
That's
I'm surprised he's taking his chair yet. Easy to sneak right
No,
over.
I was told there's protocol to be followed. You can't just do what you want to do.
It's never stopped.
Everybody has to follow line, raise your hand. Wrong hand.
That's
Yes, Autumn and I both requested that.
Oh,
Yeah, well, actually, she did first, and then when I started to leave. Should be good. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, 2 seconds. Perfect time. I'd like to call the meeting to order with start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll stay standing.
Yep, now we're going to recite our mission statement. The Knox
Community School Corporation is rooted in purpose, strength, and community.
Thank you. All right, adoption of the agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda for the September 8th, 2025 regular meeting as presented.
Make that motion.
Thank you, Dr. Friday. Second, Gary. All in favor? Opposed? 7 is not. Approval of the minutes from the August 4th, 2025 regular board meeting and August 26th, 2025 executive session.
Motion.
Wendy, thank you. Second?
Second.
Aaron? Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? There's no public comments tonight, so we'll move on. Ms. Tarno in the championship moment.
I am really pleased to bring a champion moment from the elementary school because I think especially tonight, as we move in a little bit and talk about goals, this fits right in with all of that. So I'm going to ask my kindergarten crew to stand up here. You know, they love this. They love being in the center of attention. And for those of you, just, I'm sure you know all of them, but just as a review, this is Mrs. Nita Sullivan and Mrs. Amy Borkholder, Mrs. Jamie Eastock, Mrs. Marla Bourne, and Mrs. Kim Ray. Some of you have probably had one of them standing up here, your children. I wanted to share, I don't know, Mr. Mike, were you able to?
I'm working on it.
Okay, working on it. We'll
Start talking. Give me a moment.
I've come before and we've talked about things that we're working on at the elementary school, and we received your board goals, and we've been looking at those in our buildings and looking at a lot of data points, and something just kept standing out and glaring with giant lights around it of such a great success. And it was something I wanted to share. We can't bring 120 first graders into this room, but equally as important is the kindergarten staff that got them to where they were. So in a minute, I maybe will show you a little slide with some information on there. But as you know, you've heard me mention DIBELS before. If we're elementary world, you live by DIBELS, right? That's an assessment that's done that indicates whether a student may or may not be likely to have reading difficulties as they get older. We go by a score that's called benchmark. Benchmark is the term, right? So there's a number of a score that we're trying to get to. And if a student hits that benchmark score or above, then generally we're going to say with pretty good accuracy that they will likely not have, at this point in time, an indication that they will have difficulty reading. So we have been dibbling forever, well, I shouldn't say forever, but for a very long time. And we often see a very similar trend in our data points. And these ladies really just took on some things last year. Instead of just doing the same thing, they got in there. They took on a brand new program that they had not done before. And some, I'm sure, they were very supportive to me, but behind the scenes, I'm sure there was a, wait, what are we doing? But they were wonderful. And it was a whole phonics program that was very different. And then they can tell you more about that later, but they took that on as part of how they were going to change their reading block for all kids. So instead of just looking at kids who are struggling, what are we doing for the whole entire group? So we get less of those kids who are identified as struggling. So they did that. They also looked at their intervention time when they are trying to do small groups, and they kind of got on the same page with the program and how it was going to be utilized and some consistency with that. And then they developed something called Nursery Rhyme Boot Camp. So they can explain that to you as well. There is a slide, and if it doesn't come up, that's fine. But what I wanted to show on the slide, I can send it to you later, is that we traditionally, if you look back the last few years, kindergartners come into KCES about the same scoring level on benchmark. About 34% of our kids look like their benchmark at the beginning. And part of that is because not everyone has had preschool yet. Things are very new. There's a lot for them to still learn. This group of who are now first graders came in right there. They were not necessarily a higher group for sure than any other. By the end of the year, we were at 84% of kindergartners who reached that benchmark level. And if you look back historically in the chart, you will see, oh, there we go. There we go. There it is. You can just, yeah. Perfect. So if you want to, oh, there we go. So you see that this yellow is the group of kids I'm talking about, right? 34% of them were at benchmark when they arrived to us. You can even see that's not even as high as they came in 2 years previously. We get them, they moved up to 70, but look at that ending score, 84%. That's almost 10% higher than any other year. And again, this isn't just wonder why that happened. They deliberately did 3 really big things, as well as they're just so committed to their kids and making sure they're reaching all of them. But here's the best part. You can see, no surprise, of course, you're going to get growth from the beginning to the end. If you look at that 22-23 score, do you see how 74% of them were at benchmark? But then they get to here the next school year in first grade, and right out of the gate, 53% are at benchmark, right? Because it's first grade, we've upped the ante on what we want them to do. So, okay, if you look again at the next year, 23-24, 75%. Okay, oop, first grade, 48%. Like we're losing something. Right? They're getting there and then we're losing it. But take a look, 84% at the end of the year. And look at that number as first graders. 70%. Clearly I need like a pointer from afar. 70%. There is not a year where we had first graders rolling in there at 70% proficient. This is not luck. It's not because they were higher than any other group before them. It is because these ladies made deliberate and oftentimes not easy changes to get them to that point where it stayed. I have first grade teachers saying, oh my goodness, like they can read, they can do this, they can do that. We have it all set up to have 12 intervention groups. We could fill 6 with kids, 6 with those kids who are below benchmark. We're now going into like our on-level kids and making groups just to push them even farther. So I just wanted to highlight, this just goes along with everything that you've all been talking about and expressing to us as far as what you'd like to see in improvements. And not every grade in my building takes iLearn, but every single grade builds to that iLearn assessment. It builds to those iRead assessments. And this was significant growth. And it did not come by chance. It came because they meticulously planned that out and really worked hard to get something different. It's just something really worth celebrating. And I thought the timing was really great to bring to you. Again, you can see with reluctance, no one wants the accolades, and they should get them all because, yes, the kids are to be celebrated. But I had an amazing crew as well as Angie Eads, who has retired. But what an amazing group they've been, really taking to heart, how can we deliver to our students a better programming than maybe we have before. So I just wanted to bring them to your attention because they really deserve that, that extra pat on the back, I think.
First of all, round of applause. Yeah. And I'll say, I'm in and out of your rooms, not nearly as much as I would like to be, but I do appreciate everything you guys do. When I get into your rooms, I mean, I see what you guys are doing in there. And if you've never been in the kindergarten room, it is an experience, right? It is an absolute experience to be in there. Sometimes when you're having a bad day, that's absolutely the place to go because those kids are an absolute blast. Demanding, but an absolute blast. So thank you guys. Any other questions that we have?
Anything you ladies want to share?
Okay. Don't make
Don't be shy.
Well, I know Michelle just mentioned kind of the sound boot camp. And so, and the things that were a success for us, that was one thing. We felt it was really important. The kids were not coming in with a strong sense of the letter sounds, and that was really not helping them get ready to read. So we scaled it back and said, what can we do about that? And we spent 5 weeks at the beginning of last year, and we've done it again this year, just focusing on those sounds and doing nursery rhymes so that they're able to hear those rhyming words. And we've seen a big difference with that. And then UFly, of course, has been amazing. We're so glad we jumped on board on UFly. I could see the difference within a few weeks when we started using it. We were very impressed, and it's a lot of whole group. So they get to hear other examples of great reading, and it's looping through and lots of practice. And so we're thankful. I would like to mention our reading coach, Spot, because she's the one who brought it up to us. Can we try this UFly program? And a few of us had heard of it already and said, yes, let's jump on it. Let's do it. And we've been very happy with it. We love UFly. So that's been our 2 keys to success, I think. And of course, the hard work.
And it's always the people. Yes,
Yes.
it's a great program. It's the people behind the program that make anything work, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's good work.
You guys are welcome to dismiss yourself if you want to. If you want to stay, we'd love to have you, but we understand that there's lots of things to do. So we completely understand.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Ms. Tarno?
Oh, I'm back.
We start.
I know, I can say
You want
that.
to start first, or do you want me?
Well, yeah, so we're moving right into to our principal's report here. And what we have for you here today is talking about our academic goals that we have talked about. So what you're going to see today is the district-wide goals. You're going to see each individual building's goals, which we had talked about, and I'll talk a little bit about the overview. And actually starting us off is actually Peggy, Ms. Scheidecker, who will be talking about the district goals first.
Well, the board is clearly familiar with these because we work together as a board, Mr. Mick, myself, and you. These are the board goals, different in the fact that, you know, the board goals, research says you should build 3 to 5 year goals at the board level. So you did, we've set a 3-year, right? And so those were our 3 academic goals. Our focus is on academics. So the first goal is grades 3 through 8 with the iLearn assessment, ELA. 33%, that was the overall grades 3-8 score in ELA in 2025. We're going to get to 48% or higher. We're going to add by 2028. Math, we're going to go from 37 to 52% or higher. And then we had, you guys, there was that concern. There's no doubt about it. The SAT, the math. And it's 10% now. We want to go to 25%, but realistically, that's only 1/4 of our students in 3 years. We're going to be higher than that. I'm sure that Mr. L's nodding in the background. No, you will see, and it's hard because they're different students, right? Because it's only at grade 11 for sure. But anyway, just a recap of our 3-year goals. Our 3-year goals in all 3 areas. And now we'll let Mrs. Tarno take over the elementary.
So we received your goals, Mr. Mick and Peggy explained those to us. And then our job then was to take what you set as the corporation goals and bring them to each of our own respective buildings and figure out, in order to reach the goals that you established, what's my piece in that? What's my building's piece of the puzzle in that? Like I said earlier, it makes sense. Those are iLearn goals in 2 of the categories. Not every grade in my building does iLearn, but they certainly are responsible for the instruction that goes in to eventually demonstrate on that iLearn. So what I did is I took the overriding ELA goal for iLearn, which was to add 15% over the next 3 years. I set goals for just 1 year at a time. And so our piece that we want to commit to reaching that long-term goal is that first off, to match the iLearn, we want our 3rd and 4th graders to increase at 5% in English language arts from last year to compared with the spring assessment this year. So what that would mean is in ELA, instead of 32% proficient in 3rd grade, I'm going to look for at least 37% in 4th grade. We had 45% students proficient, and we're moving that number to 50%. If you scoot over and look at ELA goal 2, again, I'm going to go back to that Dibbles assessment. That's something we do. It's a measure we look at in K through 4. It's looking at different things. It's looking at pieces that help to build up that iLearn ELA, but it's still really important. Our building overall was at a 60% benchmark or above score rate, and I want to see that get to at least 70% by the end of this year. And also in the final goal for the elementary school, we also take an iRead assessment that I know that you are familiar with. And although we wind up getting about 85%, I believe, of our students pass that measure by the end, that's given multiple times. So they take it for the first time really as an instructional kind of a tool to help us in 2nd grade. It is a 3rd grade test. It is not less because it's 2nd. It is the 3rd grade, end of 3rd grade test, but we give it to them in 2nd to see how they do. And then we give it to them in the spring of 3rd, and then we give it to them again in May, and then we give it to them again after summer school. So we have a lot of opportunities to tweak and reassess. What we'd really like to do we think that's reasonable for us is to increase the initial passing rate. That first spring test that they take in 3rd and in 2nd, in usually April, sometimes March, April, depends on the calendar. We want to see at least 10% increase out of the gate. We know we get 85% by the end of 3rd, which is great. The ones that all gen ed students pass iRead, which is a nice feather in the cap. We have some of our special ed students who still qualify for good cause exemption still pass that iRead. So just as a starting, it's really hard not to aim too far too fast. But we would like to see that in 2nd grade, at least 52% of the kids pass that 3rd grade assessment as opposed to 42 last spring. And out of the gate, instead of 72 passing in that first round of 3rd grade, we know we can get them up there. So let's try to aim for 82 right out of the gate. So those would be our ELA goals that we feel like will contribute to the board goals that you've set. As far as math, you want to flip to math? I gotta have 2 slides, sorry. For math, the same thing to build toward the goals that you did. We are looking at a 5% increase in 3rd and 4th grade. So for 3rd, it's 38% passing to 43. And in 4th grade, that's 53% of the students passing to get to 58. That's obviously, that's really digging into those checkpoints and curriculum maps and how to take that checkpoint information and really get our kids where they need to be. Now, math, we have less standardized all school kind of assessments like we do in reading, but we sat down and created what is it that are the roadblocks? What do we see that first day of school when teachers were there? The biggest blocks to getting those scores, the 3rd and 4th grade teachers will say it, our primary grade teachers see it. Kids just need to know their math facts. They just need to be automatic and know their math facts. When so much brain power is taken up with calculating, you lose what the word problem was even about. So this is not something I have baseline information for you on. Right now, we're creating which grades are taking which assessments, but it would be like 100 math fact test appropriate for the grade level that it's on. And we want to see at least 80% of the kids proficient on that measure. And the last one is about operations. So it's not just about solving, but our staff discussed how students sometimes approach a word problem and they're not sure what exactly they need to do with it. They can read it, but if you say I have 7 kittens and my brother threw 3 more in the basket, they're not sure if they're subtracting sometimes or they're adding, or we have 21 kittens now. So it's about understanding math. So what we are creating right now is a measure to test their proficiency on understanding what operations to apply. It's not going to be that they actually solve it, but here's a set of word problems. Please circle, color in what operation you have to do to solve that. Is it addition? Is it division? Is it multiplication? Long term, we'd like to turn that into 2-step things, but right now, we want to know that 80% of kids grade and skill level appropriate, right? Division's not coming into first grade, but that they can identify what operation it is they even need to apply, that the math word problem makes sense. So do you have any questions? That's how we're sort of attacking it. My teachers have these building goals they're working on now. Their job is strategies and commitments of what they're going to do, how we're going to kind of, check those things along the way to see if those strategies are making a difference toward these things.
Michelle, I want to ask a question. Can you go back to the ELA slide on hers? So on your third goal,
Yes.
something that I think I'm not sure people will catch on.
Yeah.
Your third grade goal, to pass an I read first time out of the gate, spring measure, you want to go from 72 to 82 at third grade.
Mhm.
But the whole third grade isn't taking that.
Yes. So
Yeah, so in second grade, if half of them pass that test, right, the more advanced students pass it in second grade, they're not taking it in third.
they've already
So
passed it.
that is lofty, because who are we testing in third grade? The kids who couldn't pass it in second grade. So it's not like we've got everybody in there, all our high ability kids, because they're
Yeah.
pretty much out. They've already passed it.
It was
just-
going to get complicated
Yeah, it gets
explaining,
complicated.
he's already passed it in second and these,
But
But-
you're only talking about, my point is, you're only talking about the kids who didn't pass it in second grade. So that's huge, okay?
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So if they didn't, that 72% of passing right out of the gate encompasses like, a little less than half of a second grade who already passed. So then we're really trying to raise the bar for those other students, if that makes sense. It got a little messy to try to explain all that in a number. So thanks, Peggy. Anybody else have any questions about that?
What's the response you're getting? Like, I mean, I know that there, some,
Positive.
yes.
Yeah, very positive. No, I think everybody really could see that. We spent time the first day. Like I said, the board goals were presented to them as a whole staff in all 3 buildings. When we came back, I gave them all pages of our data, what's important to us, all the things we have across it. Because again, when you're teaching reading in the elementary school, it's a K-4 delivery. It's not like it's geometry for a semester. When we teach reading, it's 5 years worth of that course. So they all need to see each other's information. Everybody is very transparent, which is encouraging and helpful. It kind of shows their commitment, because sometimes it doesn't always look pretty what you're showing your colleagues, and not how you want it to look, but not for lack of effort. Everybody jumped right in. We worked on strategies, then we mixed up grade level teams so that they could talk to other grade levels about that. They'll commit, and we'll have kind of something measurable, kind of an action research. I don't want to call it a lot of terms, because then people get nervous that it's something bigger than it is. So we're just going to keep following up and seeing, when we do this, how can we check to see if this has any impact? Do we do it longer? Do we do it different? Do we throw it out and come up with something new? So that's kind of what I'll be trying to lead them through. But really, for the most part, they're motivated, I would say. They're positive about it. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Thanks.
Condon. Thanks, Michelle.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having us. So, like Michelle, we broke your board goal down to an annual goal to measure our impact. So you can see for goal 1, we're going to improve our I learn percentage passing by 5% per year for 3 consecutive years. This is what it'll look like in the spring of 2026. For the fifth grade, the goal is to get to 34%. We're not happy with that, but you got to remember where we started a year and a half ago too. In sixth grade, 34%. In seventh grade, 33%. And in eighth grade, 42%. That's based upon last year's grade level cohorts. In goal 2, we're talking about mathematic performance. And you can see again, we're taking those 5 percentage point jumps per grade level. For fifth grade, 37 to 42. Sixth grade, an abysmal showing of 20%. We want to get that to 25. We're nowhere near satisfied with that. Again, it's a process. Seventh grade, 31 to 36. Eighth grade, 40 to 45. Those are our goals. Now, the question then becomes, how are we going to do that? So I want you to understand there's really 3 or 4 components to quality student performance. This is all just, it's hard to copy. And if you want these, I can share these with you. There's really 3 or 4 things that truly impact student performance. The first one is your curriculum. Is your curriculum tight with your state standards, or do you have gaps? So we've done a lot of work looking at our existing curriculum, our existing pacing guides, trying to make sure that they are synced with the state performance tests and the checkpoint tests, which are those benchmarks we take 3 times a year, ensuring those up. The second thing that we then look at is our direct instruction. So when you think of instruction, you have direct instruction, which some people call tier 1 instruction. And then you have the extension of the classroom, the extra help, which is tier 2 instruction. We're currently in the middle of an initiative to talk about our direct instruction that takes place first in the classroom, and how can we make it more impactful? What are we doing? What could we be doing to make it more impactful? So our upcoming PLC this Wednesday is going to focus on what we call anchor lesson plans. Teachers are going to come to the table in their small groups with an example of their daily lesson plan. And we have talked about some direct instruction. We'll have resources in front of us for what effective direct instruction looks like. And we're going to give feedback, both encouraging and critical feedback to our peers. Our peers will listen, they'll take notes, and then they'll share back or paraphrase what they thought they heard. And we hope that this teaches 2 things. Number 1, active participation and listening. And 2, reflection on behalf of the listener. We also think that a third element of this is the tier 2 instruction. That's the extension of the classroom. How can we create more time and more opportunities for kids who aren't performing where we want them to be? So if you remember, that's where we have our Redskin Plus time. And it's not just glorified study hall where kids come in and do make far from that. It's actual reteaching and retesting. And it's a targeted audience that the teachers can call back into their classrooms for 2 days a week for core content area, math and English, and drill down, go deeper with those kids. We saw great value in our reteaching and reassessment last year when we compared our initial checkpoint tests with the retests, the impact that was having. And then the fourth and final thing that really comes into play here is your assessment strategies. How much are your in-class assessments paralleled to the state tests in terms of rigor, what you're testing, how you're testing it? Do you take the time to reflect on those results and analyze them? What is the data telling you? What adjustments do you make? So we do that with our weekly data meetings at the grade levels 5, 6, 7, and 8. We meet once a week. During teachers' prep period, we answer 4 driving questions during those meetings. What is it that we want students to learn? How are we going to have them demonstrate their learning? What will we do for the students who don't demonstrate it? What will we do for the students who do demonstrate it? And those are our driving questions. In addition, in language arts, we also have one other supplement, and that's our readable English program that we spoke to you about last year, and the impact that that's having. If you recall, at the beginning of last year, we had roughly 1/3 of our students reading at grade level in the middle school. And by the end of the year, we were happy to report we had close to 2/3 of our students reading at grade level. So it had a powerful impact. We'll continue with that. Mathematics is really the same thing minus the readable English. Questions or comments?
Same thing, like what kind of, feedback or attitudes did you receive from that?
From the initiative of the board to us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it was positive. We had started this process, when I got here a year and a half ago, when we initiated, the foundation for a professional learning community. This was part of the process, that we were just getting to, was establishing building-wide goals. And it took us a long time to get to that point, because the first thing that we did, and it's a continuous thing, it never ends, is building our culture. You have to develop that culture, and it's got to be focused on a collective efficacy and an engagement in the responsibilities. Everyone has to buy in. We have to buy into the fact that we are change agents, and we can do that for every kid. We put a lot of work into that, and this is where we are now. I'd say the staff is behind it. I think they feel good that we're all going in one direction and that we have a purpose.
They're buying in.
I think so, yeah. Other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, very good. All right, so at the high school, we've talked a little bit about math and English for the board goal. For English, what we did was we went ahead and mirrored the math goal that you guys set in place for SAT, just to ensure that we're making sure that we're seeing that progress, but both with just math and English. Last year, our juniors were hit 10% of meeting that 530 threshold. Really a difference between iLearn and SAT scores. We don't have pass, fail, or highly effective or highly pass. Thank you. Couldn't speak there for a second. Yes, thank you. Proficiencies. But for high school, it is whether or not they're college ready. So with College Board and SAT, 530 for math would be college ready, or as we would say, proficient. For English language arts, it is 480 threshold. Last year, our juniors were 10% with math and 48% for ELA. Our goal for this year is to see that 5% increase for both ELA and for math by the end of this year. Really what we've done to kind of work on it as a whole is for me coming in, one of the first conversations I had with the staff is that this isn't a math department problem. This isn't a English language arts department problem. It's how can we attack it as a whole? And so we really have utilized our PLC time to start kind of driving that conversation of what can we do in world language? What can we do in our CTE classes? What can we do in our science classes and our social studies classes, along with math and English language arts, to kind of have small instructional, changes in the routine to help them build that stamina, to build that rigor that they need for both SAT, math, and English language arts. One of the eye-opening conversations we had in one of our first PLC meetings was they all kind of realized the staff members who actually gave the test last year was one of the things that they saw with their students was the kind of that deflating defeat when students opened up that test and saw the first math question. SAT, the rigor of the questions is definitely taking it above. It's definitely making sure that they're college ready. So with PLCs, that's our first conversation is what are we doing with our instructional practices and our curriculum to help build that rigor for our students. And you can build that rigor not just in math and language arts, but in science and social studies. So we have been really starting to look at dissecting some of those practice tests and practice questions through SAT, so we can start utilizing that same language across the board in the building, which has been phenomenal. We partnered with Purdue Northwest, and we had their TRIO program come in and do a TRIO boot camp, SAT boot camp for our students who are in the TRIO program, which is about 17 students. I had a couple of students before that day, before the boot camp, they were not interested in missing 3 classes to go to this boot camp. But I made sure as soon as we got done, those were the first 2 students that I went to. I said, how was it? And they're like, you know what? We actually learned something, which was phenomenal. So one thing that we've definitely are starting to work on is not just building and kind of reteaching to the program, but trying to teach them how to have the kind of the casual, the more kind of understanding from the consistency of day one till the day of the SAT to help them prepare for it. We have PSAT coming up in October. So really right now is with the PLC, we're also having conversations of how can we start motivating our students? How can we start teaching our students the importance of the tests? For some of our students, college is not in the books. It's not what they're wanting to do. However, we do still want to find those reasons for them of why it's important to do their best. What opportunities will they have if they do their best and try to meet that threshold that the state has put for them. The other thing is we are starting to look at our SRT time, kind of with Mr. Condon with the Reskin time. We have 30 minutes of undivided time within the day that we can start restructuring how we support our students. One thing for our current juniors that we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at taking our PSAT data and creating some SAT boot camp for those students who were kind of on the bubble of being that threshold for PSAT for their sophomore years. So then that way we can utilize our teachers within the classroom to give them that extra help during SRT time. Again, it's not going to be a one-time deal that we're supporting their students. We want to make sure that we're doing it on a daily basis and not trying to cram the students into understanding how to pass the SAT, but make it a casual change to make it just kind of build and be a part of our culture in the building. So that is how we're going to be using our goals for both ELA and for math to kind of support our students for this school year, but then also moving forward. And Wendy, they have done very well. I think you saw with math and English language arts that it was kind of a relief. Like it's not always on my shoulders. And what I have found with meeting my staff and getting to know them, they will literally do anything to help our students find that success. And what Mr. Eastock and I, our charge has been just to kind of help give them the tools that they need to lead that charge. And that is what our PLC time, that is our conversations of making sure they have those tools. And I think they've been very responsive to it. And I think they are definitely buying into that.
Why do you think we struggled so much in math?
That's the $1 million answer. I don't think it's, and this is just purely my opinion coming in. I don't think it was just one thing that did it. I think it was a matter of kind of showing the importance of the test for the students, helping them understand why they have to take it. Mr. Eastock and I have had casual conversations with students. Hey, why did you take PSAT last year? I don't know, it's just a test we had to do one day. So they didn't really understand based on what the SAT and what the PSAT can do for them. I think, when I've talked to math teachers and language arts teachers, for the math teachers, they're like, we need to build the rigor and we need to help them understand the terminology and the verbiage that they use in SAT. And if we do that, I think most of our students have the ability to easily be above that threshold. But a lot of times the SAT, they can be tricky. And so I think it's just that combination of being able to figure out that aha moment. Unfortunately, with iLearn, with iLearn, with the checkpoints, they have those 3 tests that they can utilize and start kind of understanding it. So my hope is we can utilize that PSAT time for our freshmen and sophomores and kind of build off of that so they can have those aha moments. So then kind of take a little bit of the stress away from them. That's just my opinion.
Jim and Michelle, why do you think we struggled so much with math?
That's a great conversation. I think there's multiple reasons. I tried to allude to that when I was presenting. I think the biggest reasons that I have found over my career, one, you have to make sure your curriculum's airtight. I think we had some curriculum gaps. I don't think there have been, I don't know how much curriculum work was done either horizontally or vertically or both. I know we had some maps that were in place, but I think we found that when we started getting together and diving into it, we definitely had some gaps that we had to tighten up on. Number two, I think you need to look at your instructional practices, which is what we're doing right now. Again, you have to look at what is effective direct teaching? What does it look like? What does it entail? Are we doing it? Are we consistently doing it? Number three, and I think this one is equally as huge, is what are our assessment practices? I always use the analogy of basketball because that's what I did when I coached. You know, you don't have a kid go play a game without repetition shooting and defending and rebounding. And are we really getting kids ready to take the shot? And is the shot that they're practicing similar to the shot they're going to take on test day? If it's not, why not? Why aren't we doing that? So we have not really started yet. We're talking about it. We'll dive into it, looking at our classroom assessments, making sure that they are similar to what kids will experience on test day, so that we don't have kids with hair on fire. They've been there, done it. Okay. And the level of rigor, the level of difficulty is also similar. And then once you get those things in place, that really makes things pretty simple, because then you can really have data-driven decision-making and discussions. We know that the curriculum's tight, we know the instruction's sound, we know the assessments are rigorous. What's the data telling us? And now we can really zero in on the kids. So I think it's those three things.
I think that was well said. I think that a couple of things to add on to that. That was a well put together answer, but extremely difficult to actually really create. Rigor sounds like a great word. We have started to get more and more resources of what rigor looks like. You know, if I designed a rigorous test and he designed a rigorous test, they could look very different. We're getting a lot more things from the Department of Ed that here is the standard. This is the kind of question that we're going to be asking. Here's a level below. Here's another level below. Because it's like anything. I need to see it. Show me what that looks like. I can model questions. I think we didn't have those resources. So it's a lot of, I think our staff getting the time and being able to process and learn and put that all together while they also have, 10 balls over here in the air. So it's leading them through that. I think another thing that's really important is understanding productive struggle. And this is something in my building I know I can speak on. We've got to let them kind of hang out there a bit, and really work on something. And that is sometimes very hard as a teacher. We want to swoop in and either provide the answer or scaffold the question really quickly for them. And they have to build the muscle to struggle, if that makes sense, so that they can do that when they're faced with a task in front of them. And we have an amazing staff in this district. And it's not, the issue isn't teacher quality. It's sometimes as a teacher, just show me, what do I need to do? Let me have time to develop that, figure that out. And then I think we can make a lot of headway. What he all mentioned is wonderful. It takes a long time to get that going. It's worth doing it in these incremental steps. And I think there's been some really meaningful discussion among us, among our staff members, that is just more focused and directed. That's kind of made me feel really good and motivated about the rest of the year. But it's kind of what I would add on to that.
First time I came before you, I said, this is a 3-year process just to get these steps in, not to refine them. It is a long process. And the first thing you have to do is you have to change mindsets of all the players. And that takes time. And then you can start digging in the mud and getting down to details.
And for us, unique is I don't give iLearn in K1 and 2. They have no idea what those questions look like. How are we sharing those item specs with the primary teachers so they can understand like, oh, what level would that be? Oh, they have to wrap their head around it and model it at that level as well. Can't just all of a sudden make it that difficult walking in an upper grade in my building. So there's several things, but I do think the resources now that we have are better than what we've had in the past to look at what is really expected on that test. It's less of a mystery. Like Judy, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You're not, it's less of a mystery than it even was 5 years ago, probably.
Do you see the kids buying it?
Buying it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fight. There, sometimes I don't know how
You
to
gotta
be.
build the culture.
Yeah, I mean, our kids, it just depends. Yes, I think that kids, when led by a teacher, will go all kinds of wonderful places, but it's hard. And finding the way to keep things upbeat and encouraging when it's hard. That's difficult for all of us when something's really hard. It's hard to trudge through all that. So yeah, I think the kids are the one thing that I think, that I'm less worried about. I feel like it's all of us making sure we have the right knowledge base and that we're doing it. It's not for lack of effort. People have been working hard here for a long time, but it's, that's my thought on the kids at my level. They, we talk excited, they get excited.
I think,
But-
as we worked with our teachers, when you roll this plan out, you have to make commitments to it. And, I think one of the most important commitments our staff has made is that we're only going to focus on things we can control. We have our 3 collective commitments. And one of those is we're not going to blame kids. We're going to focus on things we can control. And we believe that we can be change agents for kids. And when we have conversations about, possible new things, we often work in small groups and they challenge one another. Is this in line with our collective commitments? If it's not, it's got to go. All right. And that really keeps us focused.
They're much more willing, small tweak in second grade. They're giving them multiple passages to read it at one time, let's say on something, as opposed to here's one passage and I'll read it for you and this and that. It's that struggle through this with me. And then eventually that becomes just what we do here. And so each time that productive struggle I was talking about, I think kids will this is how we do things now.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Mr. Ellis, do you have anything else to add?
No, they said it beautifully.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, we're not done yet. We got one more slide.
Oh.
Yeah, let me. So, next steps.
There was no plan here, so I didn't.
I think as I sit here and I listen to this, the word proud comes to my mind, and I'm proud of this team. That includes everyone sitting in this room. 8 months ago, we decided to do a strategic plan, right? And when you look at the little diagram there on your left-hand side, right, it says identify. We identified problems, right? You have these norms that you guys created in front of you at each meeting, right? Norm number 1, right here, prioritize student success. Make all decisions using data where available that are focused on improving student academic outcomes, right? That is what we identified, right? We brought that back to the principals who have done a great job of this, of taking our goals and feeding them into their culture, into their buildings, what they're doing, right? They have come up with a plan. We are right now in the execute phase, right? School has started. We have kids here, our teachers, boots on the ground. They are working with the kids. Right, we will continue to review this. So we meet once a month just on academic focus meetings. And that review will be constantly going on. We will share this data with you from time to time, as we move forward, as, the checkpoints are getting through, things like that. Wendy, you asked a question, is the staff, is the kids buying in? I think when we started this, we felt like our arrows were pointed everywhere. Right. And Mr. Condon, you said it, the arrows are starting to get pointed in one direction, right? From opening day when we rolled out these goals, right? To them taking them back to the building and saying, here's what we're going. So I think that the buy-in is there because we're focusing our energy into one direction and not flying everywhere. So I'm proud of what we've done. I really am. That includes you guys, because it started with you 8 months ago to this vision of where we're at today, where we are implementing this into our classrooms. Principals, you've done a great job. I've enjoyed every meeting that we've had to get to this point. And I look forward to continuing that. How can we review, adapt, change, right? And then continue, hey, now, okay, here's our next thing we have to climb up to, right? So I'm excited about the process. I just want to tell each and every one of you, thank you. I'm proud of what we have done here in the last 8 months to get to this point. Now I'm done.
I didn't know you were going, but that was good. Okay.
Principals, thank you guys very much. You are welcome to get out if you need to.
Thank you. All right, item 9, personnel report. A, resignations. B, new hires. The superintendent recommends we approve items A and B. Bottom, Brown, second. Thank you.
It was Kurt.
Oh, Kurt, sorry. We changed that. All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. 10, business. A, the treasurer's report. The corporation treasurer has presented a report listed on page 16. See anything?
No, just we are approving some bigger claims lately for the projects. So I see bigger claims going through. It has to do with the project, most of them. Between this project and the upcoming project, we've got a couple of bigger bills come through, so those have been coming through. And also I did put a calendar for the budget on your guys' seats, so you guys kind of know that that's coming up also.
Thank you. B, vendor usage report. The corporation treasurer has presented a vendor usage report on page 40. Good there. C, claims. The superintendent recommends the board approve the claims as listed on page 47.
Motion.
Wendy, thank you. Second, Dr. Brown. All in favor? Aye. D, Neola policy approval. The superintendent recommends the board approve numerous revisions to several policies along with new proposed policies and replacement policies. These were discussed at the August 4th, 2025 board meeting. Got a motion?
Motion.
Second. Here, Kirk, this time I got you.
Numerous being 60 pages of Neola, just a reminder for everyone, we did go back, look at all of our policy, anything that we were missing, we updated that over the summer. So that is all in there. They've actually just made some more updates to Neola. I think I have that meeting coming up later on this month, so I'm sure you guys will have more opportunities to pass some more Neola policy.
But it's just an ongoing process at this point in time.
Correct. So we are caught up to speed now. Everything is up to date. Now, everything from this forward will be the updates that they have. Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 7. E, construction update. Superintendent will update the board on the high school construction project.
Yeah, so we're doing really well. Happy with the progress we made. The south side is just about done. They got to finish the face yet. There's a little bit going on. They're a little bit behind schedule there, but all of our classrooms are in there. They're finished. They're painted. So everything is looking good on that south side. They moved over early August to the north side, maybe even a little bit before that. The northwest side, we have now moved back into that. So our counselors are back into those rooms. Criminal justice, no, maybe they're not in there yet. But with those teachers are back in that area. They're now working on the northeast side. If you come in the morning, you see they got the big tarps up. You can see right into the classrooms. They started the walls in today. So they're about 2 weeks ahead of schedule right now, which is awesome. Teachers have been great. They've been flexible with moving in and out of classrooms. So really, really happy where we're at with that construction going on. Anything, questions about that before I switch over to the middle school construction? Okay, we're in the process right now of kind of working through what the classrooms look like at the middle school. If you remember, we're replacing all of those units. We're replacing the horizontal with vertical units. Derek and I, we've done walkthroughs of every classroom, what it's going to look like, what does a casework look like. The plan, you can start ordering those units here this month. That was our target plan, so we were close to that. We make every other week. So we're happy with the progress that we're making there with that.
Thanks for the update. Any questions? All right. G, donations. The superintendent recommends the board approve the following donations.
You missed F.
Oh, F. I jumped that one, didn't I? Extracurricular 2024-25 financial reports. The extracurricular financial reports are on file in the superintendent's office.
Yeah, that's just a update that they're there. You can see who is coaching, participating, and what extracurricular activity we have and the pay for those. So if you want to see those, you're more than welcome to step in.
Thank you. Now, G, donations. The superintendent recommends the board approve the following donations. Anonymous donation by the KCES and Hamlet Fire Department. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Wendy.
What's FFA?
Thank you. Second.
Thank you.
Second. Aaron, thank you.
Yeah, so a couple things with this. First of all, the anonymous person, we thank you. I was outside. I happened to be driving by. Ms. Shireman's class was out there today. What an awesome time. They were trying the little tomatoes, and every kid was trying them, and they go, I like them, I don't like them. You know, then they had a little activity over underneath the pavilion. I mean, she just does a great job. That she really uses that area really well. So I was happy to report that back to you. And then yes, also thanks to the Hamlet Fire Department too.
All right, all in favor? Opposed? H, fundraisers. Superintendent recommends the board approve the fundraisers as listed on page 103.
I'll make the motion.
Kurt,
Second.
Dr. Brown, is that you?
Thank you. It wasn't Kurt.
This is wrapping up the fall time fundraisers here. The cheerleaders are doing candygrams during lunch. The girls basketball is doing a porta pit chicken. So that is all happening here very soon.
Right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Aye, overnight field trips. Superintendent recommends the board approve the overnight field trips as listed on page 106 for the KHS Marching Band, Winter Drumline, FFA, and Knox Graphic Arts Department.
Motion.
Aaron, thank you. Gary?
So what you're seeing here is kind of, we're foreshadowing a little bit. Some of these may happen, some of these may not happen. It depends upon how far the band goes, how far the drum line goes. For those who, whether it's semi-state, state, but we're getting those on the agenda. Hopefully we get there. That's the plan. The FFA, that is the national convention that is down in Indy. And then the high school also listed like Maria Sullivan, Mrs. Sullivan always goes to the Phoenix Challenge. FFA has a couple other things, and then welding has some overnight trips too. So we just kind of put those together for you guys to review.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 7. J, MOU with Marion University. The superintendent recommends the board approve the MOU with Marion University and the Knox Community School Corporation.
Motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Yeah, we're excited about this. This is Ancilla, right? Marion of Ancilla or Ancilla, whatever they go. But this is so that when they, we would love to have a pipeline of our kids going to Marion University to become teachers and then do their student teaching here. So I've had some great conversations over there with them. This is a agreement that I want to do because if we get student teachers in here, we get kind of a free test drive of them to see, if we like them or not, we can work them right into our workforce for us. So this is a great opportunity.
Can they pick up other college credit too by participating in that? The students.
Going to,
Area.
oh yeah, I mean, they can do whatever they want to, yeah. But this is just the agreement that they can come student teach here. Well, I mean, they have other options too, but we'll take as many as we can get.
Okay.
All right, all in favor? Opposed? Public comments, and there are none, so we'll move on to questions and comments from the admins and board. Dr. Brown?
I think the principals are doing an excellent job. I think their presentation was awesome. I think, we're trying to get things organized together. I think Lenny's questions were good to make sure that there's some enthusiasm going on here. And I think, that the point is that if they know what to do, they can do it. And I think, coordinating the schools together so that we carry ourselves from elementary school to middle school and then on to high school and on to life after that. I think we're going in that direction, and I think it's very effective. I think the band did a great job for the halftime over the weekend, and I think my neighbor's quite an athlete.
For sure.
No, I'll agree with, the presentation was fantastic, the show, and I'm gonna go back to, Peg has been a part of this for eons, and part of what we've done collectively over the last year and a half of trying to get that, to get everybody on board, to buy into it. I think we're seeing it, and it's coming together, and our focus as well to say, hey, it's important. This needs to be something we talk about. It's fantastic, and it's great to see it come together and the work that's happening. So, kudos to everyone. So what we've accomplished and going to accomplish. So thank you all.
Thank you.
And all the way from the beginning with the literal beginning of the kindergarten teachers when they were here. It's going to be exciting to see those kids move forward and just grow from that. That was very nice for them to come in. Yes, I do think we have a lot of exciting things. The band did great. A lot of athletes did great this weekend too. Band, golf, tennis, a lot of things. Cross country, yeah, a lot of good things. But also, I was just going to ask how transportation has been going so far this year. Is there a lot of updates? I know we've gotten our new director going, and has it been?
It's been good.
I noticed we still have some double routes and things. Are any luck with drivers?
We do. We would like to, we thought we had, a sub driver that was going to come in for us. Didn't quite pan out. So it would be nice to have one or two sub drivers. That would definitely help. I think that, I haven't received a lot of phone calls about transportation, which is a good thing. We're trying to cut down on some of the route time, by having some more, dropping as a group and not hitting, there is some laws in there that says you got to be, if you're within 1,000 feet, I believe it is, it should be one drop. It's just, that's a safety rule. So a couple of things that, Ms. Austin's doing a good job of tweaking for us. But we're still working on trying to get those route times down. We would really like to do that.
I like I said on the announcement, sometimes I see two buses double route or hold back and things like that. I know that's difficult, so subs would be great.
Yep. If you know anybody, let us know.
Thank you.
Thanks.
No, I think the presentation, I'm scared, it's okay. No, I think the presentation was great. And I don't remember which one of you said it best, but in the past, it's every teacher, every school, everybody's been moving in their own direction. And so I think it's great to see everyone focused on the same goal, working together. So hopefully that will then meet our goals and help all of our students succeed more. So thank you everyone for the efforts to make that happen.
Yeah, and when they, said that, all the teachers are buying in and everything, which really, with the staff we got, I wouldn't have, so, why wouldn't they? I mean, with the great staff we have, I wouldn't have expected anything less. So, and, we've got about a week or so left before the final count. What our numbers are right now?
Jared's been out here, for a couple of days, so I don't know what updated exactly is that, but we were right within 5 of where we were at last year. I've talked to a couple of different schools lately, and I mean, some are down 50, 100 kids right now, which would be devastating to us. When I talk to other superintendents, they're like, oh, if you're at the same, you're doing good. So as much as I had hoped we'd be 5 on the other side, I haven't had an update here in about a week.
Okay.
Was that from online school you're thinking?
Yeah, we have 5 in there right now, I believe.
5 or
So
6. It's not many.
it's not many. Again, we didn't really advertise for that either,
Right.
right? That's something we're kind of doing internally. If we were to advertise, we might be able to get some more kids, but we're happy where we're at right now.
Another thing too, on that Wednesday, the synchronous day, how does that with the elementary kids not having,
Laptops.
Yeah.
the computers and everything, and especially like teachers that have, elementary kids, they're they're not home there to, to help them. So You're asking like, what do they do?
Yeah.
What did their baby with, what do they do with their kids?
Yeah. Or what, how do they get on to do the work?
The kids or the teachers?
Either.
It's teachers.
Yes.
Because the teachers are in the buildings,
Yes.
so how do they, you know?
And just gotta kind of, I mean, make that work, I guess. I don't know if I have a great answer for you. Hopefully there's some responsibility, you know, of the kids to be able to get on there and get their work done. I know at the elementary level, they don't do what the middle school and high school does. Middle school, high school goes pretty much from 9 to 2. Where the elementary, they have time frames that they go, you know, so hopefully that teacher could be able to step out and be with that kid during that time frame. If I'm teaching 4th grade, and my 2nd grade, son or daughter is going to be at a different time than when I'm online. So hopefully there's that help and that transition there. But that's a tricky situation.
Yeah, because, you know, they're gonna be home. The kids are gonna be home and the teacher's gonna be at school.
Well,
I'll try to do the best I
some
can.
of them are young and they're gonna be with daycare or with their grandparents who can help them.
But they
They should be able to help them.
I'm at work when my
They
kids are
have-
trying to figure it out.
So this,
on 3 days, right, to make the work up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Good luck.
so what's the why behind Wednesday? It's to practice for those snow days that we may have, or those fog days or whatever, right? So we want to ensure that we do have connectivity of each student, online. That's our goal. They do have days to make it up, you know, so if they don't get that work done, they can do it, down the road, 3 days. But yeah, that is tricky.
Yeah, that's, you know, I guess that was my, not every student, but, you know, students of teachers, you know, that the teachers have to be in the building and the kids are gonna be home.
Where do they normally go for daycare when the teachers are working?
To their grandparents.
That's the
Good
concern.
luck.
That's why I said I'll try my best.
You gotta teach.
It's not, I mean,
Yeah.
that issue isn't just one teacher's kid.
Right.
Right,
We
right.
have that issue with,
Everybody.
with any kid.
Because they work, you know.
And that's why they have the extra time to.
Correct, make it up.
What are the requirements
Okay.
for like kindergartners and first, second graders?
So
I
that's
mean,
like
do they
a
have
half
like, just have to do like a half hour's worth of work? Some of their parents have to log on to something and
Yeah.
get an assignment? or-
And right, and they'll have a math, a reading assignment, and they'll have the special teachers, like at elementary, it might be they get on and do some exercises or whatever, do them later in the day. First grade might have the music with their English and math. So it's really well
It's
organized.
scaled based upon your age.
Like 4th graders definitely going to do more than a
I
kindergarten.
gotta say, unfortunately, that's lost days for those littles. I mean.
It's a challenge.
It
It is.
It's in essence.
But they also send home some packets for them to do as well, because they know it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they could even do it ahead of time too, right? I mean, if they send that stuff home.
Most of them will send it home probably
Hopefully the day of.
today or tomorrow.
Right. Okay, that's all right.
Thanks, Gary.
So my question, you know, to each of them, because our attitude is a huge part. And so that's good to hear that each building, they have like good feedback and good, because I hope, I mean, change is difficult for a lot of people. And I think that if there are people that, you know, have some feedback or whatever, I know you guys have, you know, an open door policy, and I hope that teachers or who aren't afraid to, you know, come to whoever and say like, you know, have ideas or, you know, this isn't working or whatever to help because we're a team, you know, we don't want it to be where we just barked these goals out and, you know, like we all want to work together. We all obviously want to succeed. So I think that, you know, I hope that everyone feels like they can contribute, and it sounds like that they are, and that it's positive. So,
Wendy, are you getting good feedback? Are you able to system?
not really. I mean, they, you know, obviously some of them, you know, change is difficult, but, I think that it's good. You know, I think that a lot of them are excited that academics is finally
There you go.
a priority instead of other things. So I think that they are very excited that that is becoming a priority, which is sad that it's taken this long,
But
but.
good that we're finally there.
Mhm,
We're
mhm.
going there.
So, yeah, so that's all I got.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to say, yeah, congratulations to all the athletes and the band and everyone this weekend. But the presentation today, was really, like Kirk said, it was really something because when I think 8 months ago, I think around when we set these goals, I didn't really know what to expect and what's going to come out of this, and to have a presentation tonight with all the information and stuff from the principals was really, you get to see everybody being held accountable, not just us, but the teachers and the admins and so on down the line. And it's nice to see with that everybody's bought in and working together. I think we got some really bright future with the kids and stuff. So
Did we ask the lady in the corner what she thinks?
but anyway,
Sorry.
yes, thank you, Peggy.
So I wanted to report, we received word about our last 3 grants that are due. First of all, we've received this secured school safety grant. And a little frustrating because the state keeps saying they put more and more money to support safety. And yet they only funded priority 1 of every school. And for the first time, they only funded it at 92.5%. So that's a shift down in safety. Still grateful, that's our SRO, that we get 92.5 of half his salary. We will pay them the other part. Title IV, we just heard last week, so now I can write that one. Our full amount was around $35,950. Unfortunately, that's a decrease of almost $4,000. It has come down $10,000 in the last 2 to 3 years, but this is predicted for federal grants. Little concerned because that is what pays our readable English, helps to support readable English, helps to support exact path or any kind of formative assessment that you want to offer. It also helps support all of our counselor visits with Porter Stark. I mean, I could go on. It supports a well-rounded education. Last year, we supported our band department with that. So we'll have to really work strategically with the principals to divide that money. I'm just a bearer of good news here. And then Title II, we received today around, and actually I was surprised it was 72,600. It was a decrease, but nothing like what the state had predicted. So it was a decrease of $1,850. So we definitely can, sustain that. And that's going to pay, we have mentors for our beginning teachers. And I think we have 13 mentors this year. So it's the most new teachers we've had in a long time. It also pays a stipend we've been able to our AP and dual credit teachers because they have to have their masters. They have to do extra training to be able to do those courses. So we hope we can continue with that. And then the professional development, which really goes more to the state wants you to do fewer and fewer conferences where teachers go off campus. They want to get away from that. They want it to be done on campus, which you heard alluded to with all this curriculum alignment. A lot of that was done in summer work when we could pay our teachers to do that. So I just wanted to report about the grants. My final comment is this. When you talked about, I was pleased too with the principal's presentation. When we talked with them as a group, then I had to talk with them individually. I did, right? Because they were like, and I'm like, wait, no, this is where we need to be. And they agreed. And we had great discussions because that's really where it starts. Everything's not just, okay, right? It's like, wait, what do you really want me to do? So I have heard comments though from teachers, and this is what they said. We're glad it's starting from the top down. And that's you guys to us, to them. Because I've had teachers say, it's nice to know there's a focus. Wendy, you already pointed that out, right? And so last week when I was really kind of pushing, that's what Mr. Mick said, man, you were pushing those principals. Well, I was, right? But I tell you, I am such a dork, right? I forgot my life. But anyway, I am a dork because last Thursday, 4:00, I'm in my office and Michelle calls me. She is just like excited and telling me about this. We just started talking about her goals. I was like, wait, Michelle, what about? And I tell you, I was so excited. This is what I'm doing. I was so excited that we were having such a professional conversation about I read data, right? Because I keep it all, she keeps it all. That when I left here, this poor guy, he had left the building. I boxed him. And I am like rambling on about this wonderful conversation. I'm thinking to myself, I walked in my house, I said, he must think, who is this person who is so excited over data, right? But this is what it takes. And our principals are there. You saw that tonight, right? You saw the enthusiasm because they've bought in and our teachers are buying it. So just wanted to at least wipe her on a positive note to all this grant.
Well, I'll even click in with the buy-in part. I think as a whole, not only academics, I have heard that it's nice to have that push from up top, right? I go back to aligning those arrows, but I'll even go into everything that we're doing. I mean, what we have created so far this year has been fantastic. I see those kids every day coming in, the parents, I get good positive feedback from the parents. When I'm in the pickup and drop off lines, there's a lot of people that are very pleased with the direction that the corporation is going, right? And that's the hard work of the people that are in the classrooms every day. Our admin team, who have created those positive environments. We have staff coming to school, excited to be at school, just as you heard the excitement in their voice, excitement in your voice. So there's a lot of great things that are going on here. So we'll keep that up. Homecoming was great. I'm always nervous about that parade in the middle of the school day and what can happen, right? That makes me so nervous, but kids are great. Staff was great. Everyone.
The floats looked amazing.
Yep.
They were good this year.
Yep. And even at the game, I mean, everything was smooth. It went off very well. So another great event that we had there. I wanted to give you guys a little update. We've had some conversations about branding, right? We have our new mission statement, right? We have our new vision statement. We sat down with Ms. Sullivan and Chris Beaver, the technology director in that, and trying to rebrand our mission statement that we have, and kind of identifying what logos each building's gonna have. So I'm gonna share a document with you guys, even down to the colors and having the exact numbers for the colors. So if we want the red, this is the number red that we're going to use. This is number blue, so it's been some great conversation. I think that some of the frustration in the past has been that everyone kind of did their own thing, with the branding and the logos and all of that. And again, getting things together straight here, here's our protocol, whether I'm sitting in this chair or not. Here's what the elementary logo is. Here's what the middle school logo is. So you guys will see that in your notes here coming up. So just want to give you that heads up.
That's good, especially with, you get to uniforms where we're all over the place with them and
Yep.
stuff like that. So that's a
Yep.
real good idea.
So
I had a question for you though. And I talked to Greg the other day for a second about it, but you were just saying, I didn't know that we were losing funding or some of our SRO program or our police program. Is there other grants that we could be applying for in that?
So far, I have not seen any. I don't say the issue, but here's what's happened. The money the security grant comes from the Department of Homeland Security. Okay, the DOE doesn't have one for it. About 2 or 3 years ago, they opened that to nonprofits. And now it's been opened to charter schools. So now the money is getting
Thinner.
because it's going more and more. Homeland Security kind of frustrates me because they've come out with 2 more, but they're only for nonprofits. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I keep looking. We're gonna keep looking for
And
it.
I talked to Chief about that, about trying to find some local or some, that are more, not related with the state, options. So he's looking into those.
I know he's doing a good job fundraising and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I always see he's
Yep.
got different fundraising going. So, and that's great. So anyway, thank you. Any other questions? Can I get a motion for motion? Chairman Kurt and Dr. Brown? Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Focus. All right.
Thank you. Have a great evening.